Welcome to In Search of Happiness,
a podcast for people.
Brought to you by Daniel's inability to spell Atalanta and Geekers Network.
Oh, good. Now I look like an idiot. Awesome. Every time we start this off, I look like a fool in some different way.
I enjoy it.
Just don't talk until we start next
But, like,
time.
no... I want to say you're only going to look like an idiot to, like, a very small percentage of people that know who Atalanta is.
Like, the really, really
I don't know
smart
what the hell
people.
that I'm saying.
Well, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to think I just don't know about Georgia. like
Like, everyone's going to be like, oh, that's the weirdest way I've ever heard someone say Atlanta. I don't even know. Am I saying it right? Is it Atalanta?
Atalanta. Atalanta, I think. Then again, I spelled it wrong for like 30 times, so I don't know.
So what is Atalanta?
It's no, she wasn't a Greek goddess, but she was a figure in Greek mythology who was like really fast at running or something. And she won a running competition, and I don't remember anything. It was a grammar lesson. I'm not required to remember. Okay. Huh.
Well, since we got that out of the way, joining us today is Chauncey, good friend of ours. Senor Drugan.
Yep.
We've known him for years. Very, very good looking, very handsome.
Not true.
Man. Very nice.
Thank you, though.
Yeah. I'm happy to have you on today. How are you doing?
Good, man. And I'm definitely happy to be here. I was stoked ever since I listened to the first episode. I was like, yo, I want to do that. So I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. It's really cool because, like, I think I talked, like, the night before I talked to somebody about it. It was one of you two guys. I was like, we should get Chauncey. And then, like, the next morning you hit me up.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, thanks for... Because I gave 45 a shout-out last.
Yeah.
And you thanked me on that. And I was like, dude, fuck yeah, this has to happen now. It just kind of came together just fucking real...
For sure.
Organically.
I'm stoked on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess we decided that we're going to start trying to do maybe a theme to these episodes. So I guess like last time we really talked about like mental health and like the physical aspect of happiness possibly, among other things. So many diverse things.
Atlanta.
Yeah,
Or
Atlantis.
It's Atlantis. Fuck
Again,
me.
not to be confused with Georgia.
Or Atlanta.
Or Attila the Hun or whatever you...
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
So this time we thought that we'd do one on relationships and like I guess love and things, which it's kind of funny we didn't do that for February because Valentine's Day tries to go.
No, it's not funny. It's you don't acknowledge that. You don't acknowledge Valentine's Day.
You're right. It's not. I mean, it's not a day for me anyway. I don't get to like experience happiness. So like,
I'm not saying you specifically. I just don't like. I don't like Hallmark holidays or most holidays. I don't even like my own birthday.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't like anything. I don't like Christmas. I don't like Valentine's
I'm not big
Day.
on holidays.
I don't really care about my birthday.
I like closeness, but like making it a holiday just seems to make it like not enjoyable. Like it takes the sincerity. I don't know.
Okay.
Are you talking about Valentine's Day?
Just any
of it?
anything overly commercialized.
Yeah.
So, like, instead of getting you a cake on your birthday, I'm just going to pick a random ass day and be like, there you go, Jordan, happy fucking birthday. And then I'll tell you that, like, me and your mom or me and your dad are going to get a divorce.
I think
Because I think that's how birthdays work. I don't know.
Oh, shit.
I think Title Fight's getting their own holiday sometime next year.
What fucking thing did they release it through Vogue?
Wait, what?
Yeah, they released
Vogue
the title or single from their last album, right?
Vogue featured it.
Wait, it's like literally Title Fight Day?
Oh no!
That was a joke? I was like, what?
No, but they did release one of their singles off their last album was like put out through Vogue magazine.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, no, I did see that. That's pretty sick.
No.
Yeah.
So they're like 2 years away.
I guess before Daniel gets into his intended questions, so you said that Daniel said that the theme is going to be for this one relationships
And love. I guess like not specifically romantic relationships. That is part of it, but I think relationships with people.
And
just overall like interactions with people and
this is because of.
Well, it's actually because we had Valentine's Day and that last episode came out, and I was like, oh, that's weird. We didn't talk about like love at all.
Yeah. No, I just figured you were linking it in,
should've.
being that Chauncey is married.
Yeah, that was another.
We're not married. Yeah,
we are not.
We are.
Us two can never get married together. Not in Texas.
That's true.
Damn.
They don't recognize love.
Bastards.
Those fucking asswives. Yeah, I'll be goddamn that I pay tax to the state and I can't marry two dudes.
Not just one, but two.
Two. If I want to marry 2 dudes and a girl, then okay, yeah, call that out. It's not natural.
No mixing.
No mixing. It's like, never mind.
I guess so. I guess before you start with your questions, if I may ask, Chauncey, you said since hearing the first episode, you were, interested in participating.
Yeah.
And I guess being that you are in a situation that isn't like any of ours.
Yeah.
What made you want to contribute to this?
Honestly, I think I'm not sure about the first episode, but the second episode for sure, because you guys had Rainer on, and you guys were talking about like antidepressants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like that, for me, is something that is really relevant to what I have going on, because I actually see a psychologist like once a week, and so does my wife as well.
Okay.
And I've been on antidepressants for like 2 years now, I guess, and it kind of got just to the point where they weren't working anymore. And so I switched to another one, and it was just like fucking terrible. I mean, it was awful. And I'm actually still on the same one, but they like upped my dose. And so I'm kind of just like in that like phase, I guess, of like going on meds, and like, because I don't want to be on meds either. I'm very anti-medication.
Yeah.
So just like everything that you guys were talking about was just super relevant to me, and like what my life is right now. So I thought it was just super interesting, because it was kind of like it kind of like in the same way with music, the way that you listen to music and like you kind of connect with it because it's relevant, like, you know what I mean, to like what's going on, like the same way, like to be able to hear people talk about the same shit that you're going through. I thought was cool.
Dang, that's really nice to hear, actually.
Sure.
Yeah.
That it's being taken seriously.
No, well, I mean, for me,
That's awesome.
For me, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's one thing I want to bring up. Both of our episodes have really good viewership right now. That's awesome. Like, thanks to everybody who's actually listening to this.
Real.
Like, that's.
I think going into this, we didn't think anybody was gonna listen to it at all, and I know I don't listen to it.
That's real.
That is a very real thing.
I'm gonna start because people ask me like, "What were you were talking about this and that?" And I'm like, I was probably really drunk, or I'm just stupid. So like I need to go back and listen to stuff. But one thing I think when we broke 100 on the first video, I remember I was with Fish. And I was like, dude, this is fucking cool because I feel like we can connect to people, we can help people. And for you to say that, man, that's like the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Really
well, I think like just the group of friends that we have, I guess, are like, I feel like we're all like most of us. I would say a good percentage of us are within like that mental health. Like, I don't know, like we're all like fucked up in some way.
Yeah.
To like for lack of better words, like we really are. You know what I mean?
Shots fired. Chauncey hates all of you.
So I feel like who we are and who our friends are and who we all the relationships that we all have. I feel like it was something that like we all experienced, but nobody ever really said anything until you guys started talking about it. And so I feel like it's not. I don't feel like I'm just like the only one. I feel like it's relevant for a lot of people that we're all close to. So
and like you're talking about antidepressants and stuff, and it's something like I've always thought about trying because like I do get really sad sometimes, and I feel like maybe it could help. But for me, like my biggest fear about that is that like I'd get on them and they wouldn't help, and it would just fuck me up way worse.
Yeah,
and it's like I was like, because I know how I would react to that.
Yeah,
and it would just be like, man, why the fuck? It works for everybody else,
but it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I that's like kind of what I'm going through right now. Like I get it.
Yeah, that
like
sucks, man.
I'm 100% anti-med. Like I just, I don't know. Like for me, it was like it was actually the question that you guys asked on the last episode, and I was listening to another podcast, and they actually listened to this episode, or they actually asked this question. Like when you're on meds, is that like the real you when you're on meds, or is it the real you when you're not on meds? And I think it was you that said something about your mom taking on meds and you being able to see the difference in her.
Yeah.
and for me, like, that's something that's really scary to me, but I don't know, kind of like I wanted to tell you this, like, whenever I was listening to that podcast, but the last meds I was on, like I told said before, like, I didn't really feel like they were working, like they were, but they weren't. When I got off of them, I think I went like 3 or 4 months without meds at all. And being married, you're super close to that person, so they know you almost better than you do. And Amber's just been like, or Amber told me, obviously after getting back on meds and like kind of like start working on it, like, that wasn't you. Like, you on meds isn't you. Like, I was very short. I was very like argumentative. Like, I was just kind of like a dick to her, and I didn't notice it. And so like getting on meds now, I'm just like, fuck, like, I don't want to get off meds because it's the pain in the ass to get off of too. But I don't know. I thought that was really interesting, like what you said about your mom, and I think for every person it's different. And I actually the podcast I was just talking about where they asked the same question, that's what that guy said. He said, he was married too, and he's like, whenever I'm not on my meds, like, I'm not a loving, supportive, like caring husband. Like, I'm kind of just a dick. And I just think that's super like interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I definitely understand your like, we're on the same page as far as like your worries and stuff. Like, I think I went 2 weeks with like contemplating like if I was gonna like start like the new ones or not, and I did. So here I am. But
yeah,
that's one thing. Like, I think some people like think about meds like it's some easy like medical switch to flip and all of a sudden you get your life back together or something.
Almost like a happy pill.
Yeah, like it's like
they're like people will call them happy pills. Like, that's like a like that's like a term for it.
Yeah, that's a
widely accepted term. It's like, like she's on happy pills now.
Yeah, so they're like fucking awesome or something, and it's just everything's great from there on out. But it's really not like that. It's kind of like switching your diet. You got to stick with it.
Yeah,
it's something you have to watch and maintain. It's a major life change, even though it's as simple as like swallowing something, but you have to deal with the side effects of it. You have to monitor to see if those side effects are good or bad. Can you deal with them?
Yeah.
Are they making it worse?
Yeah.
In some ways. And that's for me what it was like. I think that's one of the reasons that I kind of consider giving medicine a shot again, because when I was on it, I didn't do it the right way.
Yeah, and you have to.
Like, I mean, I took it consistently for a while, and I didn't really like what was going on, so I stopped, and I was infrequently using it. Sometimes I'd do it because I remembered and I felt bad for not doing it, and it just led to a really inconsistent lifestyle.
Yeah.
Among other unhealthy choices that I was making, but
I kind of feel like that goes hand in hand, though, with like the unhealthy choices. I don't know, like, well, we've just had like a lot going on, but I started taking my meds and pretty much, because I had to start a certain dosage, like I said, and I've been upping them, and now like I'm up at like where I'm supposed to be, but now like, because Amber broke her arm, which is my wife for people who don't know. And then she actually broke it when we were on vacation. And it's just like, so it completely fucked up everything that we had going on. Like, everything was going so good. We got back home, and so we've been home since like last Tuesday or Wednesday. Well, I guess, so a week and a half now. And literally we've done nothing but like go to work half-assedly. Well, she hasn't, I have. I've gone to work half-assedly, and I come home and just fucking smoke weed all day.
Okay.
And then like I just chill and go to sleep, and that's all I do. Like, so I don't, like, that's kind of like, in the same way, like, I don't know if like the meds are working. You know what I mean?
I mean, who's to say? Like, the only way to tell is to like be like super scientific about it and like hold everything the same except for the meds, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. It's really weird because to have, like, at least for me, to have all of this shit going on while trying to take meds or trying to like figure this shit out, it's just been completely crazy. And then, like, I was going to say something about what you were saying earlier about, do you know how meds work? Like, what they do? Like, has it been explained to you? Like, any of you guys in like a?
I've had some things explained to me. I did a research project on antidepressants like a few years ago for school at one point. Yeah. To my, I don't know if you were about to like give something really insightful about it, but like to my understanding is that they either work in one of two ways. They either block the production of things that can make us tired or unfocused or like mellow.
Yeah.
Or they encourage the production of things like dopamine that give us a sense of like feeling okay and feeling good. My particular problem, like with my diagnosis, was that I was diagnosed with extreme depression, in the sense that my body just doesn't produce the thing that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
like I have very low amounts of it, Very low. So, like, I guess the normal sense of, like, reward and, like, calm and good that people get out of doing certain things doesn't really happen with me a lot of the time. So I'm kind of just like, well, yeah, things are going.
Yeah. I feel that. Well, like, the way that I actually had it explained to me is because we were talking about the happy pill thing. And it really, like, it doesn't introduce anything new to your body. Like, all it does is regulate, which is, like, to me, is really interesting. The way that my psychologist actually explained it to me is it's like a water hose, and you have these different chemicals and stuff like that, like dopamine and serotonin and all that. And all it is basically all the meds are is basically a faucet. So if you have, like a water hose with those chemicals coming out, and they're like you're diagnosed with like major depressive disorder or whatever, that faucet of dopamine is like leaking out, and so you take those meds, and it actually forces it basically like loosens the faucet a little bit more, and that's all it does. And so I think that to me is super interesting too, that it's not actually introducing anything new to our body. It's just regulating, like, certain chemicals and stuff. I think it's really interesting too.
That's why they often call it a chemical imbalance in the brain. Because it really is a matter of, like, making sure everything's there in the proper proportions. Because it's not like we have something in us that's just poison. It's something that's a natural part of our brain chemistry that we need in certain situations, just not an overly large amount of it. Which it's kind of, the entire human body is pretty much one giant balancing act.
Yeah, definitely.
So then does that make it more natural? Or I'm not even, I don't know. I know a lot of discomforts that have ever been expressed to me about medication is calling it unnatural. Does that make y'all more comfortable with it? Or how does that affect y'all's perspective? Because I guess I asked that being the fact that I've never taken like medication of that manner.
Yeah.
So
for me, that's why I didn't want to take it. That's the reason that I'm like anti-med. It's just because I'm kind of in the same, like, it's not natural. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I don't know. To me, and mental health goes so much further than just depression, and like antidepressant medication. But
I think that's the one everyone's most commonly associated everything with. Like Xanax and things like that are just so common in the media and everyone's social
I'm also
circles.
willing to bet that there's people out there that don't know that Xanax is associated with like depression. I think they just see it as like drugs.
Oh yeah,
They're just like, oh yeah, Xannies are badass.
And see, Xanax actually, like, I guess that's another thing too. Is like, I've done research on different meds and stuff like that, like Xanax and stuff. I won't take Xanax. I won't take Klonopin. I won't take anything that's like a.
I don't blame you on Klonopin.
Xanax and Klonopin are like the same thing.
Yeah, dude, that shit fucked me up.
They're both benzos, but from the way that I understand it, and I could be wrong, is that they should be used in like trauma situations, not casually, like an everyday thing. Like, hey, I'm about to have a panic attack, so I'm gonna like take a Xanax or whatever. And most doctors, like family doctors, like if you're just going to go to like a regular MD in his office, they don't know that, so they're just going to hand you out Xanax. I mean, that's what I was handed for a while, was Xanax.
Really?
Yeah. And I saw my psychologist, and he's just really well connected with like different psychiatrists and stuff, and he told me, like, dude, like, don't fucking take that shit. Like, it's terrible for you. And my wife Amber was actually, I'm not sure if it was Amber or if it was my psychologist that told me this, but if someone comes in and they are taking Xanax like into a like mental hospital, the first thing that they do is they'll like make them like withdraw or whatever from like Xanax or Klonopin or any benzos, because they're just not, like, they're not made to be taken every day. So
I believe that. I mean, Klonopin was one of the ones that I was actually prescribed.
Yeah.
That was the one I'm pretty sure I got for my depression, or maybe my anxiety. I'm not sure which is which.
Probably your anxiety.
Yeah, I get those mixed up all the time, but that knocked me into a coma so easily.
Yeah.
I had a prescription for like Xanax, but I got like an off-brand Xanax, and like that's what I thought it was.
Yeah,
because like I took it for like a couple days, and I would just feel shitty, just fucking terrible. And then finally, like 2, maybe 3 weeks in, I was like, "Fuck this! This is not like I'm just because I felt physically bad.
Because it's like a horse tranquilizer.
Yeah, I was
basically.
just like,
it
this
just-
is fucking terrible.
It
This
shuts
is,
your body down, and it gets rid of the anxiety, but it also gets rid of like your cognitive functions.
Yeah, I was like, this is not worth. Like, I'll just drink a beer.
Yeah, it's that stuff's pretty terrible. They actually gave me one whenever the first thing that I was on was a med called Wellbutrin, and they gave me something else too, and I don't remember it. But if you've seen the movie with Silver Linings Playbook, you guys seen that movie?
I've heard of it.
Well, they actually mentioned this certain med and how it just fucks you up. But I was on it at one point. It's because I wasn't sleeping at all. I would stay up till 4 o'clock and then go for 7 and then go to work every day. And so they prescribed me that one, and it literally knocked me on my ass. I would take it at 9 o'clock and I'd be fucking in bed by 10. But I would wake up the next day, and it was so bad that at work, if I was to have to do an install or something, I would forget something simple like a ladder or a certain tool that I'm gonna need, and that's just never been me, you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, now I can't do this anymore. I'd rather not sleep and be able to function normally than actually, take this stuff and, be fucked up during the day. So, yeah, all that stuff's just, I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. So a lot of the times it's it's not worth it. I'd rather be, what the fuck?
Exactly.
That's where I am at, and that's where I was at when I stopped taking that shit.
Yeah.
Do y'all take it because you physically feel bad or because you can't function? I don't know if that makes sense.
For me, I think it becomes a function thing, not like anti-anxiety stuff, but the antidepressants, because it gets to the point to where I mean, just take right now for example, like I said, I literally I go to work and I'm probably a good 20-30 minutes late to work every single day, and then I'll do my work half-assedly, enough to get by because I have to, and then I go home and I just smoke weed and I go to sleep. It's not much of a life. Do you know what I mean? Like before we would, or I guess when things are good, quote unquote, I'm not necessarily late to work. I work hard, and I feel that's something that I've that's one thing for me is I feel I've always been labeled a certain thing, whether it be with my friends or especially my family, and the way that I'm a hard worker and respectable, and I labeled a good guy, I guess, and I just feel right now I'm none of that, and so for me,
social expectations.
Exactly, and I've actually been, quote unquote.
Well, is it social expectations, or is it something that
I think it's
expectation that you set for yourself?
I think it's both. I think it started as a social expectation, and I think that because
I guess one grows the other.
Yeah,
exactly. Because honestly, the reason that it started for me was because I had great parents. They raised me great, but a lot was always expected out of me, as far as when it came to my grades or just being a good kid. I didn't cuss, and I never I don't know, I just wasn't rebellious as a kid. I was always straight A's, I was just a straight laced kid. And so as I got older, that continued, and it I think I was in 7th or 8th grade when I got my first B, and it fucking destroyed me because I thought I was gonna be in trouble when I got home. Not because my parents were beat me or anything like that, but it's just because that's what was expected, and that's what it was.
And disappointment is the biggest weapon in your
life.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so now it's I still hold that standard because that's just the way that's always been my entire life, and because I've kind of grown into that. Do you know what I mean? And so to answer your question, I don't feel I am being who I really am, or who I believe I am, or who I should be. And so it's to a point to where I'm not functioning the way that I feel like I should.
And all those expectations of who you are and should be,
exactly,
are you coming to realize that those are sincerely your own, or is that something that you are working through? Because I just think it's really interesting, how y'all have explained medication to work and its purpose. That's kind of always the understanding that I've had of it, and I guess to me that's weird. It's just I don't know. I guess to me, no one is perfect. I think the idea is to appreciate differences, and I guess just keeping that in mind. I think that's been the one thing that's turned me off to medication, is just the idea that it's supposed to make you this
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this
Okay.
like this like
the
carbon copy.
Yeah, the uniform social unit.
Kind of
Yeah.
like a societal standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Something that another reason that I was like, I don't know if I want to do this is because, and I couldn't tell you who it was, but they kind of put like the tag, I guess, on medicine of being like, oh, well, this is just something like the government created to make you like to just sit down and shut up and
Oh, a drone.
Exactly.
They want you to be a drone. They want you to not think and be a certain way.
Well, I mean, just like for like one small example is like apathetic voters who don't think they're gonna,
Oh, yeah, and so they don't
make
vote
a
at all.
difference. They don't vote at all.
Yeah.
So kind of the
That's
same.
me. Yeah.
So kind of the same type of thing. And what was your other question about?
Like-
if I was really coming to accept that those are my.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, how do you?
Are those your expectations for yourself?
I think
or-
that they are becoming my expectations for myself because, and now this may be like a part of my raising too, but like one of my main things is like, with me being married is like, I want to be a good husband. And so that's just something that I strive for. And so like right now, for example, like with Amber breaking her arm and having surgery and being like, on meds and then like whatever, or on like pain meds, she can't do anything. She can't like fucking clean the house. She can't like go outside. Like she can't do anything. And so I feel like the right thing for me to do is to like do the dishes and do laundry and like just help her like any way that I can, get her something to eat, like whatever. And I like literally our dishes stacked up for like over a week before I did them. And like that's not me. Like that's just not me. You know what I mean? Like normally I think that the day that we got home, like I would do anything and everything that I can. And, so in that standards, there are some things that that I hold myself to. Now there's other things that I was held to as a kid or as like a younger adult. I'm still a young adult, but that I don't necessarily hold myself to now. Like for example, I was always like Christian because you're supposed to be a Christian. Now I'm an atheist. I never smoked weed because weed was a drug and you don't do drugs. Like I smoke weed now because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't know, just different stuff. Like I always thought it was like weird to go to a psychologist. Or I thought it was weird to go to a psychologist, and now I see one once a week. So there's different things that I kind of hold like still to you from being a child, or like the teenager me, I guess, that I expected me to be, and like who I am now of figuring out what is okay and what's not.
Continuously forming your own definition of yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, and I've already ran into, like my parents and families and friends' disappointment in that, you know what I mean? And so I don't know. I think these past like 2 years for me have just been a growth of just finding who I am. And so I think for anybody, whether they can be medically diagnosed as like depressed or like whatever, I feel like that's a really weird time for anyone in their life, and I feel like it's hard, period. You know what I mean? So
there's a term, cognitive dissonance. I was going to say it's from something. I don't even know how to classify it. I guess maybe psychological. But the idea that something's introduced into your mind that goes against everything else that's already there. Just something that's just the exact opposite of what's going on. And you have to do this, I don't know, like reconciliation thing. You have to make it somehow work with what you already know.
Yeah.
Or like decide if you reject it entirely or can make sense out of it. And I think that sounds like what you're talking about. We get to these moments in our lives where things are just, it's like you're confronted with some like weird truth that you just ignored up until this point. Or never noticed was there, and now it's staring you right in the face and you have to deal with it and it won't go away.
I feel like that's pretty much exactly what it is. I mean, you nailed it for sure.
All right, I really liked this discussion, but do you mind if I take this into the other things I was going to ask you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm cool with that.
No.
I was asking Chauncey. I don't care what you guys think.
That's why he asked Chauncey. Now he's like,
You
I could
colored
give a
boys."
fuck about you fucking puppets. This is my show, goddammit. Bow before you, Lord. Bow before Lord. Fucking stupid.
She is the queen.
Yes, this is Lord.
Yes, this is
Lord. Okay. You mentioned Amber a couple of times, and the theme of the episode is love, right?
According to you, yes.
Of course. This is apparently going to be an episode theme too. There are moments where I just feel like a jackass.
Oh my god.
It's all Jordan's fault.
Well, I think this fits in with the medications talk, because we kind of mentioned a lot of this from like the viewpoint of mental health as a very biological, chemical kind of thing, right? So, what does that make love? Where does love fit into that? And how do emotions? What do you think about emotions? Because I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask is the nature of love something that's biological, or is it something mental? Do we have a choice in it, or is it like a purely chemical thing?
To me, it's both. And the reason I say that is because, like, there is the in love phase or phenomenon, I guess, that they call like the first part of being in a relationship, and they say that it usually lasts about 1 to 2 years. And that's like where you get like the butterflies, like when you first like see them after seeing them for like you're not seeing them for a few days, and it's kind of like to where you like, so like to give an example, like whenever you first meet someone or you first move in together, you're not going to notice all of like how they leave like toothpaste all over the sink, or how they get out of the shower wet and leave the
Are you talking
rug,
about,
like
talking about Amber right now?
No, she does none of these things. It's awesome. No, it's just like those little things. But they call it like the unlove phenomenon or some shit. But like I said, it usually lasts for like a year or two, and that's why so many couples or so many marriages, they're like, they're together 2, 3, 4 years, and then around that like between 2 years, it's usually around 2 years from what I read, is when things actually start to get hard, and it's like, oh well, I'm noticing shit now that I didn't notice before, like whether he be emotionally absent or whatever, like I don't know, just stuff like that comes up. And so I feel like when it comes to that point and that in love phenomenon is over, I feel like it's a choice, because I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but like for example, if you want to like bring Amber into it, if I'll use a perfect example. I like don't smoke cigarettes. Like it's just one of the things that Amber doesn't like, and so I don't do it. Occasionally I'll smoke like every once in a while, but I'll talk to her about it first. Well, like with everything that we've had going on, I think it was on Wednesday, I bought a pack of cigarettes without talking to her about it. And then on Friday, I was like, hey, guess what? Like, I bought a pack of cigarettes. So obviously that hurt her feelings because I wasn't communicating with her the way that I was supposed to. And so it's her choice to like continue to love me, even though that I made a mistake or like I wasn't, a good partner to her. And it goes both ways. And I think that another thing too with the choice thing, and I feel like this is going way further than like your initial question.
No, keep going.
Pay attention.
But something else too is I don't know if you guys have ever heard like the 5 love languages.
The 5 what?
The 5 love languages.
Okay.
And
like French, and then
all the romantic languages.
No, like the way that it works is like we receive and we give love a certain way, and there's 5 different ones. I don't know if I'll be able to remember all of them, but it's like words of like gratification or something like that. Do anybody want to look it up while I'm trying to look for this? Because I'll never remember any.
Let's see how long you can struggle.
That would be the smart thing to do. This show's not about shit like that.
We don't have the technology. We're not.
Or the means to rebuild.
No, it's words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service.
Oh, gifts.
GIFs.
Gifts.
That's what I thought he said.
Chips.
GIFs. Gifts, words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, and then so that's all 5.
Wait, what?
But I was that
counted
4?
4.
Is that 4? Okay, let's start over. Physical touch, gifts, words of affirmation, quality time. Damn it.
words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch.
Acts of service. There we go.
Physical touch, like where you...
And then you
exactly.
service them.
So, like, you guys all know Edgar, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Edgar Ramirez. I feel like his is physical touch, not like in a sexual way, but Edgar's very touchy-feely. Like, he will come up and he'll like rub your back, give you a hug, like, hey man, how you doing? For me, I'm probably physical touch and quality time. Like, for me, it's like I have to spend time with my wife to feel like loved or connected or whatever. And so everybody, for the most part, can usually relate to one of these somehow. The way that they give and receive love, and they're not always the same. So for me, I feel like a part of choosing to continue to love someone too, because another reason I say that you have to choose is because the person I am at 19 when I'm married, Amber, already isn't the same person that I am right now at 23. So I can't imagine who the fuck person I'm going to be at 40. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why another reason that love is the same choice, because I don't feel like you're going to be in awe over someone for 40 years automatically. You know what I mean? But anyways, like one of the things, like Amber's is quality time. So to make her feel loved and like whatever, I choose to take her out to dinner like once a week or whatever. So like mine, I said was quality time, like physical touch. So and like whenever we go out, like Amber will hold my hand or like rub my back. So it's just different stuff like that. But to answer your question, I feel like it's both, and I feel like I went a really long time on that. But it is both, I think.
I liked it. That was a good answer.
All right.
It was.
I would definitely give you Mr. Universe.
Thank you.
I would have gave Mr. Universe just off the swimsuit portion alone.
Did you guys want to add on to that? Like, is
I
love
really like
biological
that.
or is it choice?
I've never really thought about it like that.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting way, and I thought it was really cool.
It does. It makes sense to me, definitely, what you're saying. I guess my thing is the questions that I want to ask, based off of the way that you worded it, it may be more of just the wording that you use, because I think you may mean the way that I look at it. I guess it's just a matter of you not saying it the way that I would say it. So I guess that's just like, I don't know, like when you say choosing to do certain things.
Yeah.
He would have used a smarter word.
No.
Jordan's saying he's better than you at this point.
You would have said actively pursuing avenues.
No, it's just I mean,
Love Master Jordan.
see, that's why I'm concerned about even bringing it up to begin with, just because I don't want
we're
to.
assholes.
No, because I might be, and that's the thing. I don't want to.
No, I would like to hear your question, because honestly, my thing is like, if someone disagrees with me or like whatever, I want to know.
Yeah.
Because I want to be challenged the same way. You know what I mean?
Because he wants to beat your ass.
He wants to whoop the shit out of you, boy.
I want to know.
I guess to preface this, especially over the past like year, what I call love, being in love, it's not what I thought it was a few years ago. I think that love is what you like. Love is a verb, like loving someone. Like I love Gus. You know, I love my mother.
Yeah. Denied me. Looked me dead in the eyes and whispered.
I did not even make eye contact with you.
I know, because you couldn't look me in the eye when you denied me. You wouldn't leave me to die.
This is another reason why I don't ask questions.
I think we're on the same page, though.
Yeah.
I honestly do.
Well, I guess like there's that as far as love. Like that's how I view the word love now.
Yeah.
And as far as attraction, I guess from what Daniel was asking about, like when you use the word love, I think that's where I would substitute the word attraction. Like to me, attraction is definitely biological, and you can be attracted to anyone else who, you know, stimulates your chemicals, your chemical composition. That's not the same for everyone. So I guess those two things go in hand, and I guess to me, I've learned that those two become intertwined with loving. I guess to the point that I used to differentiate between loving someone and being in love.
Yeah.
And I've learned to completely do away with that differentiation, to do away with the idea of being in love.
Yeah.
Like loving is definitely a verb, but I guess that attraction, I guess that real attraction, that comes from, I guess, how you say that you choose to do things that
Yeah.
you see would be applicable to show love. I guess to me, like I guess I just look at it as more of like being inspired to do so, just
Yeah.
based off of that interaction that you have with that person.
Yeah.
You know, like it's I don't know, like I don't know if that makes it sound any different than what you're saying, but I guess I just use that
Well,
differentiation, like, you know, like how are you inspired to show these things from that person based off of how they make you feel, how they interact with you,
yeah.
you know, what they do for you, and not even just like, you know, you and your significant other, but just anyone.
Yeah, I think that I don't know that this same thing applies for anything other than a marriage. Really, I don't know. I could be wrong, or like a romantic relationship. I guess not just marriage. But I think like what you're saying and what I'm saying kind of is along the same basis.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely correct me if I'm wrong. But I think the like the attraction part of it, I think like it being biological, I feel like that is absolutely the first step, and I feel like the attraction is what leads to the like in love phenomenon or whatever.
Yeah.
And so if you guys want, I can find some of the stuff that I read, and there's a book about the 5 love languages, and if you guys want to like
on my phone.
do what?
I said I saw it earlier on my phone.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you guys want to even like post like a link to this stuff, and that way you guys can read it or whatever. But that way you can really see, you know, if like you can read it and be like, okay, well, this is absolute shit, or hey, like,
Oh,
this
yeah,
makes
definitely.
sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's like the beginning of like the in love factor. And then to answer your question about, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you asking what is it on a day-to-day basis that makes me? What happens on a day-to-day basis with interactions with, let's say, Amber, for example, to make me choose to love her or choose to
Like show.
do those things to show love?
Yeah.
For me and Amber, and I don't know that this is the way that the right way or what works for everyone, but pretty much like since day one of our relationship, we've been under the understanding, or we've openly talked about the fact that, and we actually have a quote of this on or something like this on our wall, where like Amber comes like in me, like in my life, Amber comes before I do. And so Amber is 100% completely taken care of by me. Like what she needed, I don't know, it sounds bad, but it just works. But then in Amber's life, I 100% come before her.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like your partners. And so like if she's being loved and taken care of and is, I don't know, being taken care of in the situation, that automatically makes her want to take care of me in the situation or in the relationship, and then vice versa. And so, and there obviously is times where I've put myself way ahead of Amber, and Amber has put herself ahead of me, and that's always whenever shit gets bad, honestly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of how we do it. And so by putting Amber before myself, like, and it goes back to like helping her around the house, like whenever, you know, she's had a broken arm, I like, one of the things that I could have done to choose Amber over myself is to do the dishes like the day that we got home.
Yeah.
But instead I chose to be like a lazy piece of shit and, you know, smoke weed. So I don't know. I think for me that's what works. And I don't know that it works for everybody else, but
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
It wasn't really as much of a question as it was just prompting perspective.
Yeah.
That makes sense? Yeah. It's not really right or wrong way to answer that.
Well, did it make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Alright, cool.
Yes. You look like you're going to ask something.
Yeah, I am. So you pointed out that I said love kind of ambiguously. Like you wanted to use the word attraction for the initial part of it, and then it kind of turned into a discussion about making relationships work and making the love last.
Yeah.
I was thinking a little bit differently about it, and I realized that about halfway through the talk that we were going through. Like if you think about unhealthy relationships and these like really volatile interactions in romance where people like seemingly hate each other more than they like each other, and they may still stay together, or they break up and they come back together. So of course I'm talking about my love life. No, like there's plenty of examples of that though.
We can get into that.
Oh yeah,
I
can look like a real piece of shit.
Not just you,
but
man.
like that's what I'm like. These are the things. It's like logic tells you if something's this bad and this unhealthy, you should step away from it. Yet something pulls those people back together. So you guys talked about the side of it where, like, if you really want something to work well, you have to try for it, right? And it's a partnership. It's a going back and forth. There are sacrifices you make, and sometimes it doesn't go well, but you can keep it on track. But that makes it seem like it'll fall apart and just like stop if you just stop putting the work in.
Yeah.
But it seems like the opposite of it is that it falls apart, but you somehow get stuck together. This is what I'm asking. Where's the choice in this? Like sometimes it seems like the choice is hard to make.
I think the choice is very hard to make because I think we are. I don't know how to word this well, but I feel like at our core, I feel like we're all selfish. We all want to do what is best for us, I guess. Does that make sense? And so, I don't know why. Like, I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but I don't know why I make that choice. Like, it's just, I don't know if I'm answering your question.
I think maybe I got a little too specific when saying that the choice is hard, but it's like this is like my original question still stands for me. Is like, do we really have a choice then? If there's like,
is that limited to him and his situation? Or are you just asking generally?
In general,
I guess based off of the way that I stupidly look at things, I feel that
Jordan got an attitude.
Okay, let's say that you have the letter grade of an A, and the numerical equivalent to getting an A is, 90 to 100?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you're in a relationship, and that you would give that relationship an A, but numerically, that relationship exists as a 92, and you are content, as much as you could be, but then there's still that margin that can make it even better and even better. So then, let's say that you live your entire life and it works, there are ups and downs, whatever, and you live your entire life, and then for some reason you have this realization that instead of having lived your life with that 90, you meet someone and you understand that with them you could have had a 96 or maybe even a 99, very close to perfection. I guess I use that to try to define the way that I look at connections. And again, I guess if you've listened to any of the past 2 episodes, you already probably have the very strong idea that I'm an idiot and very spiritual with things. Not religious, spiritual. But I guess that analogy ties into how I look at things spiritually, just the idea of a counterpart, the idea of
I was going to ask you
finding
about that,
a 100. Yeah, I guess that's how I look at it. Like going into going back to your question about when does it become a choice, this and that. And I guess for me, I've just kind of looked at that over the years as not as much should I keep choosing to make this work, or instead of looking at it that way, I guess I look at it as, is this my my 100? Is this where I would exist at my fullest potential, and would they also exist at their fullest potential with me? Yeah.
So there is a choice or there isn't. I'm still kind of lost.
Even within that, I think that completely is based, for me, that's based off of whether or not you would agree with me. And the way that I look at it is that you can choose to accept where you are.
Ooh, you can choose to settle. We know how Jordan feels about settling.
I mean, essentially, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, and that all just depends on perspective as well. Like, if you don't understand that, you're kind of settling your situation, then you're not going to know that there is a better situation out there for you. But even then, again, that comes with just overall perspective. So, I believe that being in any situation essentially is a choice, and when it comes down to it, you're choosing whether or not you want to push further, I guess push yourself more and see if it does get better, especially if you feel that it can get better.
And what if you end up miserable and alone?
My thing is, I realized that I had this idea in my head of how I felt a relationship should work. And once I got that idea in my head, I realized that I would rather be alone for the rest of my life, knowing that I was going for what I wanted, than to waste my time settling and feeling shitloads of pain just to distract myself.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's cool.
But is there a choice?
But I think there still is a choice. I think correct me if this is not relevant to what you're saying, but I feel like in like a certain situation.
But can we be real? Like jet fuel doesn't melt steel.
Well, like what does like love ship for a friendship play in that way, or does love ship for a family member play out in that same way? Or is it just romantic relationships that really, do you question like, is this as good as it gets? Do you know what I mean? Because someone who could have grown up with like a shitty mom, like isn't necessarily going, like they're either going, like they still have that same choice, like they're either going to not talk to their mom like anymore and like just completely cut them out of their life, or they're going to like still have a shitty mom. And so I feel like, do you know what I mean? Like, so in a relationship or in a romantic relationship, I feel like it still kind of works the same way, except that, well, no, I mean even in like a child parent situation, like the parents, they're like, if you have a shitty parent, the parent still has the choice to change or to make an effort towards a relationship. And I feel like that's the same way for a romantic relationship. Like if person A is putting in all this effort trying to make it work, and the relationship's at a 92 like you're saying, but person B is putting like 80% effort in and not really kind of doing it, then I feel like that's when it becomes a choice for person A to be like, you know what, like you're not, like, obviously they're, say, hey, you're not trying, whatever, blah, like, but it's ultimately their choice to be like, you know what, I've done everything that I can, so now we're done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. I guess. Hold on. Yeah. Yes, it does. I feel that maybe going further with my explanation would complicate things at this point because I'm very good at doing that. What do y'all think?
About how you complicate things?
Oh,
you guys want to go to the next question? I mean, I'm cool with that.
Okay. Whatever you want to do. Unless there's still some topics to be discussed here.
I mean, there could be. Well, I mean, like you expanded it to like non-romantic relationships, and that's a really big area that I wanted to talk about too. I mean, as far as choice goes, you can't pick your parents, you can't pick your family.
Yeah.
But you also sort of do pick up these other people that feel like family.
Yeah.
Like they're not blood, but they may as well.
I guess
be.
you could choose to interact with, like, kind of like what you were saying. Like, you can't choose your parents, you can't choose your family, but like the interaction at a certain point. Of course, when you're younger or whatever, when you get to a certain age, you can choose your interaction with those people and base it off of like what they've done for you, and like, I guess that's kind of a shitty way to say it.
I mean, that's real for me. Like,
but that's pretty much what it comes down to. Like,
well, my question for that would be like, okay, say you grew up with a shitty mom who beat you as alcoholic. I don't know, just whatever. Like, so you don't talk to her from 18 to 25, but at 25 she has a heart attack and is laying on her deathbed. Do you still go see her because you love her? Like is that love? Like, do you love her, or do you know what I mean? Like,
I think that's societal guilt that would make you.
Yeah,
so
feel like you're obligated
love.
to go and see her. I mean, like the familial importance we place on things, or I guess the importance we place on family, like genetic family, is a little absurd sometimes.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm all for unspoken bonds that last and endure through ridiculous things, even as shitty as people can be to each other. But just based on genetics alone probably isn't a good reason for it.
No, yeah. Like,
If you want to base it on something, base it on the family unit that you stayed through. Like, if you guys weathered some shit together as a family because you were a family and you lived together, not because you just had some fucking chemistry that said you were related.
Yeah.
Like,
there shouldn't be an obligation. You shouldn't have to be obligated to somebody just because of genetics.
Yeah.
Like, it should be that you want to be there for them and all this stuff.
Shouts out to dads whenever they're there for this.
Shout out to Trips. I almost forgot this one. What up, Trips?
Speaking of family.
Yeah, Trips been holding me down for a minute.
I said Trips earlier.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Did you?
Oh, I didn't shout him out, though.
No, yeah, I tried to help you catch it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh.
It's nice you too.
See, now, Jordan's been sassy today.
Yeah.
He's got a sassy pants
Well, you
on.
know, when you wake up and you find out that you have a paper due in like 6 hours.
You just don't do it. That's what you do.
Pay someone to do it.
Yeah.
You just go, how the fuck? I could pass the class out this paper. Fuck them.
That's usually what I do.
usually
I take some like damage control and I think about like what's going on.
I am not the best. I have a terrible collegiate record, so take that into consideration. You should, if you want to be like me, kids. You can have your own show. Talk to people in your dad's garage.
That's where we are. Oh.
I'm almost 30. I'm gonna die alone.
Oh my god.
So other things I have on here.
That first question was really good, Fish.
It was.
Thank you, because none of the other ones are.
Oh, like the ones I've asked? Okay.
Yep.
It's okay,
I'm
Jordan.
kidding.
Jordan woke up, found out a paper due today, and then decided to twist all my fucking words to death.
To death.
To death. They're dangling in the wind. So, as far as relationships with other people, I mean, a big part of all of that is opening up to people. Like, revealing parts of yourself that you don't show other people normally.
Like your dog.
Yeah, like your dog. It's the little things that matter.
Okay.
Sorry, you were going somewhere really beautiful with that. I'm sure. I was just like, dong.
No, I just kind of wrote down this phrase, and I don't really have a question for it. But I wanted to talk about like a sense of authenticity and vulnerability with people. Because to me, that's a big part of love for me. Is I have to be able to feel like my actual self around someone, and I don't really know what the fuck that is, but I get closer to it whenever I interact with the people that I love.
Yeah.
And I like authenticity and vulnerability work hand in hand, because you can't be. I can't feel like I'm fully myself unless I'm lowering my guard down. If that makes sense. I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know if you guys have ever noticed I have a guard up, and I do this thing where I'm really sarcastic, but inside I hurt.
And then we laugh at it. But I've never noticed.
I'm going to say yes.
That wasn't the question. That wasn't the question.
Oh,
Let's not talk about that.
I thought that was the question.
Look, I just wanted you to comment on authenticity and vulnerability. Like I said, I didn't really have a question for it.
Is that going where?
Anyway.
No, yeah, I believe that is definitely necessary as far as developing personal relationships, if that's what you're asking, or wanting to go with that.
Yeah.
He just wants you to talk about it.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Be vulnerable.
Be
Be authentic.
I think
about authenticity. And
I know for me, like, that's a big misconception that I've only really been able to get across to a few people, y'all being some of those few people, not including you, Daniel.
Yeah, I know.
No, just like I don't know, joking about suicide. Like, it's in wake of the fact that that's something that I've considered for myself at times in my life, especially when it got hard. I don't know, just I guess being vulnerable in that sense, desensitizing yourself, allowing yourself to be vulnerable.
I think for
that relative?
I think I'm following you. I think I'm there.
I think I'm getting it too, but say your shit so I can decide if I'm an idiot or not.
I know I'm an idiot.
Okay.
That's all I was going to say. I know I'm an idiot, but I think for me, like, with the suicide stuff and all that, like, joking about it kind of makes it less overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's not so much of a, like, because I think, like, if you don't talk about it, but you're going through it and, like, you're thinking about stuff and, like, you know, and you can't fucking do it. It's just this big fucking monster thing, and it's like, I'm trying to block the sun from your eyes, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
And
I'm the only one sitting.
Do you want? I can show. Anyway,
it must be hard to be in the spotlight.
God's spotlight.
You are in God's spotlight every day.
Oh, no.
Oh, I was talking. Yeah. No, yeah, but you know, it takes it. I don't want to say it's less serious, but it makes it more okay.
Familiar, like I don't know. I think the familiarity with that. I mean, even just with death. I mean, that ends. I feel like that ends up leading back to your question about yourself. If someone isn't familiar with you.
Oh yeah, no one can ever fucking tell when I'm being serious about anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you're not familiar with it, then obviously you're not going to. You're gonna have a different. You're gonna regard it differently, interact with it differently.
You're gonna hate me, is what we mean. Like, even if you know what I actually mean, you're probably gonna hate me. But
yeah, no, yeah,
yeah,
no, but yeah. I feel that.
You made that clear earlier.
Never clear enough, man. Mr. Johnson?
I disguised that. I just saw the hurt in Fish's eyes, and it just made me sad.
Well, at least somebody was looking at my eyes.
No, I think that like me and Dustin kind of talked about this a little bit, kind of the same thing about like stand-up comedy and like what's acceptable and what's not. And something that he said that I thought was interesting was he mentioned something about like a rape joke and gay jokes, and how they kind of like lighten the issue up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Because you know, like, in this situation, or no podcast, but if like all four of us are just hanging out and like I was like, yeah, like I was suicidal this morning, like nobody's gonna be like, you know, it's kind of awkward. You can just be like, just have like an open conversation about that, you know, just between the four of us.
Yeah.
But to, I think, joke about it, it kind of it lightens the subject. It makes it not as heavy for people. I mean, at least for me, I don't know. I think that's what it does for me.
Yeah, I think
that's pretty much what I'm doing most of the time. Is like you say ridiculous, like the most ridiculous things I've ever said have been about shit that I'm actually thinking.
Yeah.
Like I just work it in there because I don't really have any other way to express it in like an open forum that doesn't seem like really stupid.
Yeah, I understand that.
Like,
does that come from having tried to do so and not feeling comfortable with it, or just assuming that it's not going to be accepted?
It comes from growing up on MySpace.
Is that?
It comes from being really overly open on a digital social media and having not disregarded, being like. Well, I mean, like people ignoring you is one thing, but the other part of it is like you realize how like pathetic it seems.
Yes.
I think for me. It wasn't that as much. I guess with certain things in my life, I feel that I've poured my sincerity out to its fullest extent, and those things weren't regarded nearly as much as other people who were discussing things with, I guess, lesser sincerity, and I don't know, receiving more. They were somehow stimulating a lot more than I was, and that confusion is what made me stop. Not so much that I felt pathetic, but just like it was just confusing as hell to me. And it still is.
Like you didn't feel appreciated?
It's not even the appreciation. It's not even being appreciated. It's just I don't know. Like I guess I use the word taken seriously a lot. Like I feel that for a duration of my life, and of course a duration for most of my life. I guess specifically up until having met Gus and the rest, including you, Daniel, that I wasn't really taken too seriously by most people. And I think that's slowly, very slowly and steadily improving as far as that number. But even that small number in itself as it exists now is a lot more than I could ever ask for, because it's a lot more than I had, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One Gus is a lot more than zero.
One Gus is a lot more than most men.
Mm-hmm. Is that a fat joke?
Means you've got a giant dick and a big heart.
Damn.
I might have an enlarged heart. It's probably a health problem. The giant dick thing is completely wrong. That's actually I wanted to bring this up at some point. Do we have time?
We're at 64 minutes.
Wow, 64. I feel like we only talked about like 2 things. Anyway, no, I just want to throw this story out there real quick because you mentioned your parents earlier, and do you remember the first time I met them?
First, was it at the
that
MTV Battle of the Bands?
Yeah, me. For people that don't know the background, me and Chauncey were in the same band for one point in time. He played bass and he was really great. Just real good looking. It helped our band be the good looking band that we are today, and will always be best looking band on earth. But no, we were. It was UTPB. Yeah, it was the Battle of Bands UTPB. I don't even remember which one it was, but we had played. We were doing great, and at that time, I was really bad about saying terrible things. Because I had a mic in my hand. I was like, if they put a mic in my hand, I gotta talk. So like, it's like UTPB is a college. We're on the soccer field. There's a good amount of people, but there's like people that don't ever see a show like ours and aren't
people expecting a family-friendly environment.
Yeah, it's supposed to be family-friendly.
It was not.
And I went off on like terrible. I kept talking about Chauncey's dick and like how big it was and how it could kill. I think at some point I said it could kill Godzilla. I don't remember, but I just went on and it was a terrible rant. We came in second place. I think we would have won it if I didn't talk so much because I was like just cursing. And it was like in between songs. I'm just cursing, using terrible language. I think I probably said the thing about like I could come faster than anybody there. It was just terrible stuff. But afterwards, I met your parents and they were very nice. Yeah. They've always been very nice. But I was like, I felt so terrible. I was like, Chauncey, I didn't know your fucking parents were here. Why didn't you tell me? He's like, oh, it's cool, man.
Like, they were cool. They just laughed.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
But I wanted to get that story in.
That was awesome. So not only are my parents there, but I actually had 2 ex-girlfriends there too. Yes. And so it just made it even fucking better. It was awesome.
Yes. Everything. That was a good time.
That was a good time. That was a good show.
And I just made an ass of myself. Like for it fucking. I blame Andy because he always takes forever to tune.
That's true. He usually breaks a string and has to.
Yeah, it's always something like that. And then it's like, "Can you talk to him, Gus?" And I'm like,
I started to think he did it on purpose. Like I thought he would like pop a string.
I think he does do something on purpose. But did you want to cover anything else?
I mean, I could still go if you want to keep going, but we were trying to work on making these a little bit more digestible time wise.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we really did only cover like 3 questions. If you want to do one more,
yeah, we can do one more topic and cut it. 'Cause the people like to hear us talk.
I mean, did anyone else have a question or something they wanted to talk about?
I talked about. I just talked about what I wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah. Well. I keep going through the same list like I'm going to see something magically appear that wasn't fucking there. No, I don't really have anything that fits in with this theme.
All right.
We could just end it here, I guess. We should mention, I mean, we have the Facebook page now.
Oh, yeah, we have the Facebook. We have a Twitter.
URLs? What are the...
How... the fuck?
Facebook.com.
What did you call me, boy?
/ what?
I think it's in...
Just look up In Search of Happiness. You'll find it. It has a really gnarly picture of a bus.
Yeah. You know, you put me on the spot. I know the Twitter is like ISH_podcast.
The Facebook's In Search of Happiness podcast.
All right. There you go.
So you can add us on there and we'll post all the episodes there directly. And that'll be the best way to keep up with us if you want to do that.
Mm-hmm. And for every 20 likes, we are doing a serial release of Jordan's diary.
Yeah.
What are we up to right now?
I think we're at 30, so you're still waiting on your second one.
Yeah. All right. So it's lots and lots of
good things. Stuff in there.
Yeah.
All sad drawings.
Very much so.
Mainly on my wiener.
We have that. We also have our email set up now, right?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I set all 3 of those things up.
Yeah, Gus
and I did not fucking remember any of them.
Gus did all of this, and I was really stoked on it. So.
And we were drunk.
Oh, that's right.
We were at the bar, and I was like, "Should we do that? Yeah, let's do that. I should probably do that too." You verified.
Do you know what the emails are? Because
It's I have it. I have like all emails, like in the existence of time.
That's a little bit, I think.
It's like 20 actually. A lot of people don't use email.
Yeah, if you want to email us for whatever particular reason,
Ask us questions. We'll answer those. On
yeah,
the show.
fuck yeah. Ask us questions. Send us nudes.
Tell us what you think about antidepressants and how much MySpace was a golden idea, and that you remember the stupid things I would write on there, and that you hated me for it, and really appreciate Jordan actually, even though he thinks otherwise.
No. If you want to kiss anybody on the mouth, let us know.
I'd like to have like a very short segment in future shows where we discuss something random that one of the listeners suggests, not even necessarily relative to personal happiness, but just
I'm gonna make like
it's always gonna be dicks.
I was gonna say like I'm gonna make a
pussies.
fake email every time and just submit something asking you about furries.
me specifically.
Yeah.
Huh.
The email is ishpodcast2k15@gmail.com. So yeah, send us some stuff. We'll keep doing these, even if you don't want them.
It's still gonna keep happening.
I like these. They make me feel stuff and things and good.
I definitely care about this a lot more than anything else I have going on right now.
Yeah, I should. If I cared about like other things as much as I care about this, I'd probably not be a giant piece of shit.
And I love that you have students.
Huh?
Nothing.
Ooh.
You just call me out for not loving my students?
Nah.
Because I love my students.
Love.
Love.
Dreamers. Bandcamp.
That what you want to plug?
Yeah. Why not?
I was gonna say I was just about to ask people what they want to plug.
I want to plug the fact that the sun has been just right up on me for more than half of this episode.
More than half.
More than half.
It looks good though.
Is it more than that?
They were reinforcing you.
MOAR. Alright. Well, that would be mine.
dreamerstexas.bandcamp.com.
It's
Okay.
Texas, not TX.
Yeah, TX. Same thing.
I was making sure. Because I would have.
TX, yeah.
Alright. DreamersTX.bandcamp.com. It's music.
Thank you guys for finally fucking recording.
Yes.
Because that.
I like how y'all like. I don't know if that was always the case, and y'all just never do it live. But I don't know, like just like small intricacies that we're kind of tuned, I guess, fine-tuned for the recordings. It's really cool to hear.
Yeah, we talked about recording for like literally 4 years, and it just never happened. So finally did, and now I'll probably never play another show ever again. So go Dreamers.
It had to happen.
Sure.
At least like you're never like y'all don't ever play a show again. At least there's like that album.
No, exactly.
There's something.
That's like why I wanted to do it. I was like, I need something.
Everyone I've ever shown that shit to that never caught you guys live,
Really?
they're just like, "What the fuck? This is the best shit
Oh, yeah,
ever." Why
no,
they only ever
I've
do?
never heard anyone negatively respond to that. They're usually blown away.
That's pretty
No.
sick. That's awesome.
They're like, "Why is there only 5 songs? Why are they not a band
I
anymore?"
miss that band. I'm trying to start a new band with Pinky, but he obviously lives 5 hours away. So
Yeah.
see what happens.
If it means anything, I enjoy bands that are short-lived, especially if they like. I don't know. I don't like the idea of exhausting anything.
Yeah.
And I guess that goes back with my overall idea of just like balance in life. But I really dig bands who put out solid shit, and then you want more, but you can't have more, kind of thing.
True. Feel you.
Yeah.
I'm like that with TV.
Y'all are the Barry Sanders of what would y'all call it? Pop punk.
Dude, I don't know. What streamers? Fucking know.
That's the best.
I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know.
Whatever that is, y'all are the Barry Sanders. Of
You're the
that.
Barry Sanders of I don't fucking know.
I'm gonna
like a
take
mother-
that. I don't know about the rest of the band, but I'm definitely gonna take that.
Any other plugs?
45 Apparel. It's or Collective, I guess now. It's 45 the numbers and then collective.com.
Oh yeah.
And that is
a new clothing line. Well, it's a collective, I guess. It's gonna be it's gonna turn into a collective right now. It's just an apparel line. We're doing t-shirts and hoodies and shit like that. But I don't know. We'll see what
Those
happens.
beanies are dope.
Thank you.
Those beanies are like the thickest, gnarly. Like
That's awesome.
they like the like 4 or 5 cold days that we had here. I mean, it doesn't ever get that cold, but like when it was hella cold, like that beanie was the shit.
I was wearing mine all the time whenever it's cold.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best thing about owning a clothing line, though, is all the free shit that you get to wear because nobody else buys it.
You just have all the cool 45 shit.
That's all I got, though.
I got nothing.
No, I just want to be sure to throw that one in there.
Yeah, I can't think of anything right now.
Cool.
One last thing, Daniel, have you listened to The Six Golden City by The Saddest Landscape yet?
Man. No, I haven't. I'm sorry.
Then I give up. 3 strikes. I'm out.
Is that 3 strikes?
Is the Saddest Landscape, are they still a band?
I don't believe so.
We need to get them on the show to perform that song.
Dude.
Then I'll finally listen to it. Unless I actually walk out.
That would be so dope, and on that episode, make it like a live recording.
Yeah.
Like record us actually
listening to the song.
Where are they from? Where are they from?
Earth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Fuck me. I don't deserve to know anything about it until I listen to the song, is how I'm going to take that, rather than you just calling me a dumb piece of shit. Now
Honestly,
I fucking breathe.
I'm too busy listening to know such trivial details. I don't know, man. I don't know where they're from, honestly. I'm sorry to not be able to answer that. I'm a poser.